Hi everyone, Michael from Bullion Now, bullionnow.com.au. I'm not in a habit of making videos in response to comments that have been made on our YouTube channel, but I'm going to make an exception this time for a couple of reasons. One is I really want to thank people for the huge compliment they've paid us, and I'll explain that further in a moment. And I also want to take this opportunity to maybe lift the veil on bullion trading and some of the things that go on in the background that people, general public's not aware of. And one of the reasons Joe and I created this channel was for education, and it really is important and educational to look behind the veil every so often. So first of all, to the compliment. To be told that the Bullion Now, in the couple of years that we've been around, has grown from effectively zero through to being able to corner the silver market is possibly one of the largest compliments I've been ever paid in my life. That's huge. Like, I've been grinning about it all weekend. I just can't believe that that's where we've come in 2 years. That's where us as a family, the Bullion Now staff, the Bullion Now customers, all of our family, in 2 years, we've come from almost zero through to being told that we're now big enough, we're now serious enough to corner the silver market. That's fantastic. Unbelievable. Unfortunately, I have to step back and come back to reality for a minute. And on several levels, this just doesn't hold up. And I certainly wish it did, but it doesn't. Let's break it down into facts. I encourage you to go to Google when you finish this channel. Go to Google and type in something along the lines of Perth Mint bullion monthly sales. And every month, the Perth Mint publishes publicly on the internet, publishes their sales for the previous month. And if you go there now, you'll see the sales for May 2020 were just shy of 1 million ounces of silver. They list both gold and silver. So it was just shy of 1 million ounces. It was 960,000, something along those sort of lines. For the month of April, I think it was, the previous month to May, it was about 2.5 million ounces of silver was sold through the Perth Mint. Now, just to give you some perspective on Bullion Now and its size, we don't turn over even 500,000 ounces a month. As much as I ideally love the thought and ideally love the fact that people out there are thinking we turn over that amount and we have that kind of sway. To give you some idea, and I didn't actually look at exact numbers, I dragged it quickly off our back end system. We sold somewhere, and this is not just Perth Mint ounces, we sold somewhere between 15 and 20,000 ounces for the month of May. Now that includes eagles that we sold from the US mints. That includes maples from the Canadians. That includes trade-ins that people have brought in, although I'll have to admit there hasn't been too many of those lately. That includes our locally produced kilo bars and things like that we've been sourcing from local manufacturers. So that's not all Perth Mint. If I was to drag together Perth Mint ounces, honestly, I didn't look it up. I'd be fascinated to know, if I'm completely honest, and I might even do that later. It's nowhere near 20,000 ounces for the month of May out of Perth Mint. It's not anywhere near 20,000 ounces for our total of silver sales for the month of May. April, I think, would actually be somewhere close to 20,000 ounces for the whole month, maybe even a squeeze more, because April was a huge month for us. But again, that's not all Perth Mint product. That's all our silver products overall. So to accuse a company, as much as it tickles me pink, to accuse a company of cornering the silver market or to corner the Perth Mint production when they trade in less than 1% of the Perth Mint's sales for that month, I love it. I really do. And as much as it's such a big compliment, I have to apologise and say we didn't go anywhere near it. Not even if I made all of this up. I really couldn't exaggerate that much because people would call me on it straight away. As for saying that we're doing some backroom deals with certain companies, I don't want to bring in names, not because I'm frightened of naming them, but I'm actually frightened of getting my butt kicked. As for doing backroom deals, the bullion industry, it's not some big mystery. I know we make it out to be some big mystery, but it's not. we work a lot along the same lines as any other industry. So as a retailer, I don't usually deal with other retail stores. Now it's a slight exaggeration, because there are times when between retailers we'll offset. You know, I've got some of this, they've got some of that, and we'll make a change. Or I've got too much gold, they haven't got enough, so we'll make a swap. So there is a little bit of that interchange there, but it's certainly not anywhere near a large part of our profits or our trading. We deal with wholesalers and mints. Now, we as Bullion Now have struggled as much, if not more than everyone else, to get product out of any of the refineries. I got to be very careful here. We've struggled as well. So I've had to source stock from other wholesalers. Now, the stock that you saw the other day that I think has kind of lit up the internet, I'm exaggerating, has caused a little bit of a stir on the internet, where we brought in 200 kilos of silver bars and 1,500 1-ounce kookaburras. Bullion Now did not actually source that from the Perth Mint. We actually sourced it from a wholesaler. We are having the same challenges that everyone else is having in getting stock from all refineries, from all mints, from all suppliers. And when it's there, we grab it. And I'm not saying I don't apologise for that, but I don't. That's as a business, when you need supplies, you contact your suppliers and you get them. You're not trying to corner the market. You're just trying to get enough supply for your store. And that's what we've done. We haven't cornered the market. And I can tell you, with turnover, with sales of less than 1% of what the Perth Mint sold last month, I can tell you without a shadow of doubt that we're not cornering anyone's market. What I can guarantee you though, and what I'll guarantee every single day that this company is operational under my control, I will guarantee you that we will source the best products that we can lay our fingers on, whether that be from within Australia or outside of Australia. I guarantee you that we will source the best products we can, at the best possible prices that we can get them at, the very best prices we can. And we will pass those very best prices on to you, our Bullion Now family of customers. We will always do that. It is very rare where someone is cheaper than us. I'm not saying it never happens, because obviously it does. Sometimes it slips past through to the keeper. But usually one of our really good customers flags it, sends us a message, you know, whether it's on email or on the phone, and just says, look, you know, you've got X product at X price. Y can do it slightly cheaper. Can you match it? And invariably we do. There are occasions when I can't go below it, but invariably we do. But we can do that because I have sourced the products at the very best prices, and I have promised people that I will always supply it at the very best prices I can. Yes, I'm in business. Yes, I'm there to make money. Yes, I'm there to pay wages to staff and to keep the lights on, and all those sorts of things that every business is in and should be. One of their main goals is to actually generate a profit, because that's what keeps our economy turning over and our employment turning over. So yes, we do that. Yes, we make a profit out of it. Yes, I don't charge you the same price as I pay on wholesale. We all know that. Like, to state that is just stating the obvious. We will continue to do that. Now, I don't know at this point, and I probably will never find out, whether these people that are posting on our YouTube channel are my competitors that are getting their nose slightly out of joint, or whether they're concerned citizens. I have no idea. I really don't know. But if they're one of my competitors, thanks for the compliment. You've paid me one of the biggest compliments that anyone could ever pay me. If it's members of the public, I apologise that you're upset and that you can't get the product that you want. I apologise if we've been slightly clickbaity with our titles and it's fired you up. I don't apologise for the fact that our company will always source the best products at the best price that it possibly can and supply them to our customers. I won't apologise that Bullion Now, in times where supply is difficult to get, will fight tooth and nail to get the products that they can. I will not step outside the bounds of the law. I won't do it. But I will fight tooth and nail so I can provide our family of customers with those products when times are tough. Because that's why you develop a relationship with your bullion dealer, which I've been encouraging people to do since we started this channel, whether it's with us or with someone else. We will continue to source these products. We will continue to fight to source these products through every channel that we have in our means, in our arsenal, in legal, ethical ways. We won't step outside of legal, ethical ways, but we will do it where we can. We will always do it. And I would suggest to you that that is what you want in your bullion dealer. You want to know that when it all hits the fan, that they're going to be standing there and they're going to have product and they're going to be sourcing the product at the best prices they can. Because if they're not there and they're not doing that, when it all goes pear-shaped, why on earth are you dealing with them? So the kernel of this message on this YouTube video is that if you want a bullion dealer that will, within the bounds of the law, will always source the best product they can get hold of at the very best prices and supply them to you, not at an extortionate price, but at a fair price, then deal with a company like Bullion Now. If that's not what you want when it all goes pear-shaped, if you don't want the best service, if you don't want the best prices, if you don't want to know, if you don't want them fighting for supplies for you when it gets tough, then find another bullion dealer, because we're not it.